Let me check. Mic check 2 1 2. Yes, it's you. Let me check. Mic. Yes, it's you. Had to check. Had to make sure the mic was good. What's going on, Dukes? And Duke gets his Eddie Ed TV. I'm back with another one, baby. Listen, you already know what the deal is. If you're not subscribed, subscribe. We got Boot in the chat early. Welcome, man. If you're not subscribed, subscribe, man. Turn on post notification bells so you know exactly when I go live. We got Scary Saturdays tonight. Scary Saturdays tonight, man. You guys already know what to do, man. Get your drinks. Get your hot chocolate, coffee, whatever you drink. I don't know if you want to go hot or cold. Whatever that is, go ahead and get your drinks. Get your snacks. And if it's cold outside, get your blanket. Because it's about to be a good, scary night. I'm trying to hook my headphones in right now, but there we go. All right, we got it. We got it. Hey, man, hope you guys doing well, man. Another Saturday, another week. Make sure you drink plenty of water. You know what? I need to take off these tags because I don't want to do any advertisement that's not sponsored or sponsoring the I moved the mic or the camera. That's not sponsoring the video. So let me take this thing off real quick. Hold on. Let me set up the chat. I'm gonna be trying to get my driver's license. Hey, man, hope you do well, Boot. You know, I know you studied and everything, and definitely practice. You know, get your practice in. Make sure you know, you're not over studying. You know, thinking about it too hard. You know, just relax and do your thing. I know you're gonna do it, man. It's all good. All right, without further ado, man, we're gonna do some shorts. We're gonna do some shorts just to give some more people to come inside the live stream. So if you're watching the playback, man, definitely join the live. It's fun. It's scary. It's funny. It's entertaining. Okay, let's get straight to it, man. Let's get to the lives, hives, dives. Okay. Now make sure my headphones are not turned up too high because I don't want to blast my ears. And if you guys are watching on your phones, definitely adjust your volume. Adjust your volume because sometimes I might like burst out, and if it's too high, your ears might die. No, it's not. But if you're watching on the TV, man, way to go. That's the best way to go. Bigger, louder, better.
Hey, you crazy?
You crazy?
I just
Hold
wanted
on,
to
is
let
that
Susan
music?
know
Yo, these copyright stuff, bro. You gotta be careful about this.
I was back in town.
Looking like a fine ass Aina.
An underage China.
Not for some.
Oh, Joe, whoa.
It's all good. You just look a little different. What is it?
My boobs.
Hey, yo.
Nah. Get your braces off.
What show is this from? It's gotta be from a show.
Put a Batman logo on the white laser and point it at the sky? Okay. This idea might actually work since this uses laser technology instead of regular flashlight technology. So let's go print out Batman. It's so small. Amazing transition in 3, 2, 1. Okay, this may have been too small.
Oh, he's gonna put it in the light. Okay. That's,
All right, Batman is taped on there, ready to go. Let's go outside and test this out.
let's see.
All right, we're outside. We get the homemade bat signal.
Oh, he's gonna do
I'm
it to the
shine
sky?
right over there. Let's see how this goes. Okay, turning on the homemade bat signal in 3, 2, 1. Oh my gosh. Okay, I don't see Batman at the end of that, but it is putting like some type of imprint on the light. It's just not visible. Dang.
Do
Let
it
me
to
know
the
what
sky.
else I should try. Put a Batman
Oh,
logo
that
on
didn't
the
work. The heck is going on here? The heck? Oh,
This is a custom
Copyright.
painting from Mike Pankers. He wants a black and white planet. White on top. Crumple up some newspaper. Uncrumple it up. Hold it down. Swipe, swipe, swiperoo. Peel. And dab, 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 dab. Black shadow, like that. Cover it with the Shaw Shaw bowl. 50 cents at Walmart. Yeah. Spray everything with black. Especially the edges. Make sure that we get those. But not too much. We don't want to flood it.
Okay.
No
What
puddles.
we making over
We
here?
want the shine to be red.
Okay, the shine to be red. I think he's making some kind of like
red stars.
moon or something.
Come on. Poop them out. There we go. Yeah. Yeah.
Alrighty.
Shasha.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
freaking dope.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, boy.
Dang.
This is a custom paint.
Oh, whoa. Whoa. We gotta skip that. Oh, Lord. Hold on. Wait. Did he catch that? Hold on. Let's make sure we mute that. Oh, that's great. Did he get it? Oh, he about to get. Hold on. Did it get inside the tire? Or the rim? It didn't show it. Okay, we gotta mute this because they're trying to get us. He said, I seen this guy. Alright, I don't know what that means. Let's hear this.
Alto, soprano, or just loco?
Yeah, she look crazy, son. Oh, shoot. Hey, don't mess with that girl.
What was that?
A note only dogs can hear.
What are you? Alto, soprano,
Oh,
or
she
just
hitting
loco?
them high beams. Oh, Lord. Oh, she was using her. Hold on, what show is this?
What are you? Alto, soprano, or just loco?
Oh, Holdy. That's
I
crazy.
heard that if you crack an egg at the bottom of the ocean, something crazy happens. So I wanted to try it out. First, I got my egg, and then I went to the bottom of the ocean. It's about 45 feet deep here. I checked to see if it would float.
How to cook perfect steak? What, how much butter? What? 3 stick of butter for... How many steak? For 2 steak? Oh my... Oh, look at how much butter that is.
That's
and
a lot
that
of butter.
bacon is extra grease. And stop playing with your onion. Hiya. Okay,
Hiya.
it all look good. Stop throwing your potato like that. You're wasting food. Okay, making French fries. See, wasting food again. The potato drop.
Oh, that looks
Nice
good.
salt, cheese, spices. Ooh, it look
Ah,
good. Look good.
No.
Oh, but so much oil. What is he flipping the steak with his hand? This guy is machine. Steak look perfectly cooked, very good.
This steak
but
look
this is the
good.
kind of meal you can have once and then you die of heart attack later.
Yeah, real. Yeah, he's not lying. Okay, let's hop straight into the scary stuff, man. The first video's coming up, man. We got. Hold on, let me make sure we stop this thing. Hold on, I'm getting a message over here. I'm getting a message. Wednesday. Prayers up. We're gonna pray for. I'm gonna pray for you, Boot. So that you do well on this driver's test. Hold on. Hold on. Wait a second. All right. We got pancakes in this joint. Okay, let's get started with the scary story. The first story is from Llama Arts. We got it from Llama Arts. It's called Midnight Horror Story Animated. I'm ready to hop straight into it, man. Hope you guys are too. Get ready. Let's go. Am I late? I was late.
Not
streaming,
making this video for
joined right
attention
when I
or
went in.
sympathy.
Yep, you
or
are
anything.
kind of in the beginning.
I
Oh, let's turn this thing up just a little bit. Let's turn this thing up just a little bit. It's kind of low. It's kind of low.
Want anyone who can help me to do that. My name's Daniel, and this is a story I wish I didn't have to tell.
Daniel.
I've been a night owl my entire life.
Oh no.
As a teen, I used to stay up way past midnight every night, watching terrifying videos on YouTube. I know now they were nothing compared to the horrors of the real world.
Heck no, it's not.
Compared to the tragedy my family and I went through. The story I'm gonna tell to you now. My parents, being teachers, had always emphasized the importance of sleeping well to me, and would definitely disapprove of my late night routine. So I knew that if they'd caught me up at that time, I'd be in big trouble. At first, this wasn't a problem, but after I told them about a child predator in our neighborhood that I'd seen in one of my videos, they seemed to grow more and more paranoid.
We gotta get the gun.
Obviously understandable. Every night, I'd hear one of them wandering into my room, checking on me.
Huh?
Every night,
Oh, the
I'd
parents.
immediately turn off my light and pretend to be asleep. I never knew for sure if it was my mom or dad coming in, since obviously if I opened my eyes to see, they'd know I was awake. Mostly, I presumed it was my dad, from the heavy-sounding footsteps, but either way, I found it pretty hypocritical for them to preach to me about being up late when they were awake themselves.
Hey, go to sleep, man. Don't ask no
Sometimes
questions.
I wondered if they knew I wasn't sleeping, because often it was only after what seemed like hours before they'd finally leave and go to check on Alfie. That's my little brother, and Lucy, my little sister. I'd have asked them about it, but I thought it would have confirmed any suspicions which they seemed to already have about my staying awake deep into the mornings of the next day. Like I said, I guess they were just paranoid about the child predator. It was stupid for me to presume any of these things, and I'll never forgive myself for it, but I did it all the same. Anyway, one day, Lucy's school, where my parents both work, announced a school trip. It meant they'd be gone at some point next month from Saturday morning to Sunday morning, and it meant
about to
that
get
I'd
left.
finally get to watch the horror movie my friend had lent me, that my parents had refused to let me watch. There was one downside, though. I'd be left to look after Alfie. He, being only 6 years old, my mom was reluctant to leave him in my care alone.
Don't leave
My
him.
dad defended me, reminding her that Alfie had been up most of the night after a nightmare, so he'd probably sleep most of the day anyway. Besides, he reassured her, he's 17. He can be given a little responsibility. With a heavy heart, my mom agreed.
Oh,
I
boys.
honestly wish she hadn't.
I could already see what's coming, man.
Finally, the morning came for them to head off. It
Dang.
took longer than expected because my sister said some of her favorite toy dolls had been stolen. But eventually, my mom persuaded her that they were probably just lost and told me to look for them whilst they were gone. I begrudgingly agreed.
Hey, what a gun at, man? Do we have a gun?
As they were leaving, my mom gave me a
What a
stern
gat.
word, reminding me to lock the doors, not go to bed too late, and take good care of Alfie.
Hey,
She
Alfie.
told me she'd be watching through the security cameras. to make
She
sure I
better
was
be.
looking after him properly. I told her she really didn't have to worry. Then we
Nah,
said our
son.
goodbyes, and they were off.
Yo, y'all should have left him with a gun.
Alfie and I
Alfie
spent
sleep in
most
my
of the day
room or
playing
sleep in
outside.
your
I
brother's
came
room.
in after the frisbee landed near a strange man who Alfie said had been in his nightmare.
Oh,
I
Lord.
told him that was ridiculous, because even if he somehow was in his dream, he wouldn't be able to remember. Anyway, I went by myself to get it, and I have to admit that the man was fairly creepy. He had a huge grin, and his eyes, staring right at me, seemed to be permanently forced further open than they were designed to go. His clothes all seemed to have been made from someone 50 years younger, as they struggled to cling to his fully grown body.
This dude is weird.
It was cold, but he was wearing a sun hat, a
Ugh.
tiny one for children, which barely fit on his head. I recognized it, but didn't know how at the time. If I'd learned anything from the videos I spent my nights watching, I'd have abandoned the frisbee and left.
For real, bro.
Clearly I didn't, because not wanting to feel like a baby, I approached him. As I got closer to the man, his smile disappeared, and he removed the hat and held it behind his back. I began to see his features in greater detail. He looked tired. He was pale and his eyes were bloodshot and had huge gaping bags under them.
Ugh.
And the entire time it took me to get to him,
That's kind of
the
cool.
man didn't move an inch, other than the odd blink. Not even his eyes shifted. At this stage, I was getting uneasy. I just wanted to get it and leave. Hi, can I have my frisbee back, please? Thanks. The thought of that conversation, if you can even call it a conversation, still makes me shiver. I locked the front door as soon as we got home. We were both a bit shaken, and Alfie looked tired, so I gave him some more food and put him to bed.
Alfie look like me.
It took
the
him about
glasses.
2 hours to fall asleep. He kept complaining that he'd have another nightmare about that man.
Yo, get
I
Alfie
told him he would.
to your room, man. Let little bro sleep with you in the room, son.
I see him every night.
He whispered to me. Well, if you see him again, don't worry. I'll be here to fight him off.
No, you won't.
This
You gonna be
seemed to settle him
snoring.
down, and soon he was fast asleep.
Man, if
At
he...
about 11,
Hey,
it was time to put my
DMZ.
film on. I couldn't
Wait,
have my
DBZ,
mom
my
knowing
bad.
that I was watching it, so I did something naive and ignorant, and something I'll always regret. I turned off the security cameras.
Dummy.
I
Oh
watched
my
it for
goodness,
2
bro.
hours straight, my eyes never straying from
Come
the
on,
screen
son.
until
Bro, run. He don't even got no
replayed
gun. He's
the
not
last
ready.
few seconds of the film, but the sound didn't happen again. It was coming from inside my house.
Now you want to turn off the TV? Too late,
Alfie.
bro.
He didn't reply.
He's
But
gone.
I could see
Oh
him
my
under the cover,
gosh.
so I thought he was just asleep, and I didn't want to wake him up. I
Bro.
swear, if I thought anything worse had happened, I'd have checked. You
Yo, we're just
okay?
warming up.
I thought maybe
Expert Thief, I see you, man. We just warming up, man. This is just a warm up. Hey, stay
I was
tuned.
just worrying too much, hearing things. It was late, and the film had been scary. Maybe it was just all in my head.
Bro, go get your... Bro,
I
I'm
knew
gonna slap
from the
this
sound
boy,
of his
son.
voice, it was him. Alfie! Alfie? Usually this much noise would have woken him up.
He's not.
Alfie,
He's
what's
out the
going on?
windows.
I knew something was wrong. It was him. The doll. I couldn't believe it.
Go get
It
your
had to
brother,
be some kind of
son.
sick prank. It had to be.
No, it's
wasn't.
not.
It was the man I'd spoken to earlier.
Oh,
He'd
Lord.
taken my brother. Alfie! I was certain they'd be gone before I could reach them. But he didn't set off straight away. He watched as I tried helplessly to do something.
Oh, my
I
gosh.
screamed and I shouted.
This
and
guy
I
is
banged on
crazy.
the windows and I tried to open the doors,
Wow.
but nothing worked. It was all
Oh,
in vain.
my goodness, bro.
There was nothing I could do for my brother, my best friend, as he was stolen away from me.
Man. You didn't even
It
get
was
the
too
license
late for
plates?
the police to do anything. It was too late for anybody to do anything. He was gone, and in time, I'd have to come to accept that.
What do you... He just left! What you mean he was gone?
9 new messages. First message.
Oh, my goodness,
Hello?
bro.
If you're out with Alfie, call me back when you get back in, please.
I'm disappointed
Love,
in
guys.
this guy.
Bye.
End of message. Second message.
He listening to
Daniel, we've been trying
messages?
to get a hold of you for hours. Is everything all right? Did you turn the security cameras off?
They'll be fine. The security system probably just glitched out. Hey, Alfie, just call us as soon as you can, okay? You know how Mom worries.
End of message. Third message.
Listen, Daniel, we're starting to get really worried now.
Look at
If
this,
you don't
bro.
pick up, one of us is gonna have to come home to check if everything's okay.
Lord,
Please
bro.
pick
Call the...
up.
You should have...
End
He
of
should have called the cops. Bro. Okay, you couldn't open the door, right? Boom. Get the license plate. Call the cops immediately. Fam, get the cops.
Message. Fourth.
I can't believe he
Daniel,
said.
are you okay? Daniel! What's happened? Please answer.
Man,
I couldn't bear to tell them anything.
goodness gracious.
That was 7 years ago. We never found him.
That's a. Oh, Lord.
When I asked my parents if they'd seen anything at all of this man whilst they checked on us during the night, they only looked at me, concerned and confused. What do you mean? They asked. I could only stare at them in horror. Every night, around 2, you'd come and check on Alfie, Lucy, and me to see if we were sleeping.
Daniel?
They told me.
No,
we
we
didn't.
didn't.
The police wanted security camera footage of the man, but of course, there wasn't any. It automatically deletes any footage older than 24 hours, which meant I'd been mindless enough to stop it recording on the only night we could have seen him. You know, the strange thing is, I don't even know if I want Alfie to be alive.
What?
Because if he is, God knows what that monster has done to him.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry if I've gone on too long, but the guilt's been killing me. I had to get it out somehow. I only tell it as a story because, well, people like stories, and I want as many people to hear this as possible. Alfie, if somehow you're watching, I love you, and I'm so sorry.
Is this real?
Don't lose hope. And to the man who took you, it's not too late. If you have any heart at all, and even if you don't, please let my little brother come home. To everybody else, if someone comes into your bedroom at night, open your eyes. You never know who it might be. I still stay up late at night. But it's not because I don't want to sleep. It's because I can't. In case anyone sees Alfie, this is the last good photo we took of him.
This is more of like a sad thing, bro. It's not even scary.
That's it. Stay safe. Thank you.
Alfie, man. Alfie is outie, bro. They got him up out of here, son. They got Alfie out, bro. We got a couple comments in here, man. We got Expert Thief. We got Daniel. Oh, shoot. Darrell. Oh, Daryl. Daryl? Am I saying it wrong? I love to watch short story films. Very interesting. Appreciate it, man. I'll stay tuned. I want to get scared. Yes, sir. You're going to be scared a little bit. Have you had those spicy chicken noodles before? Wait, the red ones, the red joints? I haven't had those. I tried to find them some years ago, but I couldn't find them. I just had one, and my lips are on fire. Yeah, I know that thing. Like if it's the red goo one, like the black goo, that's like red when you put water in it. I heard that stays spicy for a little while. So get you some milk, get you some bread, bro. Get you some bread, my Duke, and now like help it come down. Soak the the spices out. But let's head to the second video, man. That was tier 1. We're going on tier 2, or maybe even tier 3. But okay, we bumping up the levels. Okay, now we're gonna turn off the lights and get the atmosphere a little spookified. Okay. I heard a door click over there. But anyway, let me turn off the lights real quick and we'll get started. If you do not have your snacks, go get your water, go get your beverage, go get the bev, and go get the snacks. I got my snacks. I got the chips, as always. Jalapeno. All right. Let's get started, man. This one is 3 creepy True Beach horror stories. Volume 2 from Mr. Nightmare. Shouts out Mr. Nightmare. I'm not gonna lie. Mr. Nightmare got one of the best narrations I've seen on YouTube. Shouts to Mr. Nightmare, man. Appreciate you. Story 1 by Paul.
I started talking to this girl years back named Christina.
Christina!
We met through mutual friends.
Hello!
After a while of commenting on each other's Snapchat stories, I decided to just bite the bullet and ask her out on a date. It was mid-July, so options for things to do were abundant. Namely, the beach and anything outdoors was an option for a first date. There's a beach by me that allows trucks to drive onto it with proper permits, and I frequently go there still to this day with my pickup truck.
To this day.
It was a night that neither of us had work the next day, so we decided to go to the beach and have a little bonfire with some drinks. On a weeknight past 8 o'clock, I knew next to nobody else would be on the beach that late, so it was what seemed like a perfect first date in privacy. She lived only 5 minutes away from me, so I picked her up, and then we stopped at a 7-Eleven.
Oh, she
where I
liked
bought some
that.
firewood and other supplies for the fire.
Okay.
And we headed straight to the beach. To be honest, I'd never started a fire before that, so I was scared of embarrassing myself. But on paper, it sounded like a good idea. I pulled us onto the trail that leads to the beach. It's a decently long trail, and at one point there's a fork in the path, where 99% of people turn right to the main beach. But I often go left because it's a lesser known, smaller but more private section of beach. We went left, and when we got to the beach section,
you're already
we were
messing
the
up.
only people there. I had my brights on, and could see basically all the way down the empty beach. Not another truck in sight. I pulled my truck up on a sandhill, then parked it, and we started to unload the truck. I dug a hole with my shovel to place the firewood and some smaller fire catching sticks, and honestly, I couldn't get a fire to catch. I tried for 20 minutes and couldn't do it, and I called it quits. It was embarrassing, but we laughed about it, so we just chilled in the dark for a little bit, drinking the beers we brought. For a while, all we heard was the waves hitting the beach, but Christina was the first to point out that she heard something else in a whisper. I started to listen closer, shifting all my attention to that, and I heard what she meant. It was this whistling sound. Not like a bird, it was a person for sure. Christina and I looked at each other with telling faces of how freaked out we were. The whistling was extremely close. Since we had no other light, I went into my truck and turned on the headlights. And I heard Christina scream.
Nah, get into your truck and dip. Hold on, my bad. I gotta change the scene. My bad, guys. Lord. Get into your truck and dip, bro.
We both saw the back of a man's head, hurrying out of the tall beach grass on the little hill of sand above my truck. He had likely been there the whole time, watching us for some reason. I yelled to get lost to the creep. I went up the little hill and tried to follow him, but right away I lost sight of him. There was tall beach grass everywhere. He could have been hiding in any of it. I took out my phone to use its flashlight and got on my toes to get a look over the grass. Looking back, I don't even think I wanted to find him. So
Why? Yeah, for real. What you like trying to find him for, son? Get out the way. Leave. Y'all should just go home. There's no reason. What are you going to do to him? And why were you hiding and looking at us? And then what are you going to tell you? Yeah, I was looking at you guys. You guys look delicious. What the heck, bro? Just get out of it. Like, what are you going to discover, bro?
I don't know why I didn't just get in the car right away and leave. Christina called me back to just get in the car and leave.
For real, Christina?
And I heard the whistle again.
See?
It sounded way too close for comfort, like within 10 feet from me. Christina heard it too, and she once again begged me to come back to the car.
Bro, listen,
I did.
bro.
I went back down the little hill and started packing the chairs and bags into the bed of my truck. As I was getting into the truck, I stopped and heard a humming from the same spot.
Oh, Lord!
It was clear by this point someone was deliberately trying to scare us. We got in the car, and I switched my lights off and turned the engine on. I sat there for a few moments, waiting, as if I knew that whoever was in the grass would come look at us after hearing the engine start and lights turn off. And I was right. I turned my lights back on, and for just a brief moment, a man's face could be seen looking through the grass into my truck. The light being turned back on made him hide back in the grass. I was tempted to get out and beat the guy up, but Christina stopped me and convinced me that he may be sick in the head or armed, or both.
Bro.
That we should just leave.
Just leave.
I agreed, and we left the beach.
Good. I'm
the
glad
whole
you
time
listened.
looking behind us to make sure we weren't being followed. It was an incredibly tense and scary drive off that beach. With the amount of crazy people out there, I have no idea what that man's intentions were, but nothing about that entire encounter was normal at all.
That wasn't scary a little bit.
Take this.
That was not scary, son. That was not scary. We're gonna get hotter though. I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna get hotter into the next videos.
When I was younger, my family rented a beach house for a weekend one summer. The house rental was cut extremely short, and this is why. It was our first day there. We went to the beach and then went out to eat for dinner. The sand dunes were very hilly near the house, and that night, my brother Joey and I came up with the idea of sand sledding down the hills. We found a couple big cardboard boxes in one of the closets in the house, so we cut pieces off the boxes to use as sleds. Our parents didn't mind us going out in the dark as long as we wouldn't stray too far away from the house. We found what seemed to be the tallest part of the sandhill and started riding down the pieces of cardboard box as if they were sleds. It worked pretty well actually. When Joey made it to the bottom, I'd say his third or fourth time, he called up to me, "Tyler, what is that?" I didn't see what he meant, so I slid down the hill again and looked at what he was pointing at. It was something in the ocean. It was this black object sticking out from the water. The moon's reflection on the ocean was just enough to see this object, but not know what it is. It looked like something was definitely floating in the water though. We were a little freaked out and were too scared to go closer and look at.
We might have to switch videos. It's not scary, man. It's not scary, guys. We're gonna have to switch videos, man. We're gonna turn up the temperature, man. Let's turn up the temp. All right. Hospital. We got hospital horror stories. Okay, let's see what this one brings. And actually, if you guys have any horror stories, I'm gonna ask you about them pretty soon. But let's see how this goes. And if it's like then let's see what you guys got. Well, let's go.
I've worked as a nurse in multiple hospitals and facilities. Before the current hospital I work at, I worked at a geriatric hospital 30 minutes from my house. I had experience working with older patients before, so this was nothing new to me. I had been working at this hospital for only a couple of weeks, and you'll soon understand why. This was on my second to last shift at this hospital, unbeknownst to me at the start of that night. I was working the graveyard shift, and I was running on negative hours of sleep. I was assigned to the Alzheimer's ward. The patients in this ward absolutely adored me. My presence as a young girl in her 20s among the residents of this ward who were otherwise left to themselves to float around in their minds, I'm sure saw me as a breath of fresh air, someone who could tie them to the now or to the everyday. If you're just left to yourself, you can mentally go to other places, but with someone else in your space, you're tied to that moment in time. I was dealing with a number of patients that night, but one was a little more restless than the others. Her name was Lena. This was my first night dealing with her, and she kept telling me anytime I'd enter her room about the voices she kept hearing and the man dressed in black she kept seeing in the corner of the room.
Okay, now we get something juicy.
The other lady in her room requested her curtain be closed before my shift started so that Lena would leave her alone. She was a sweet lady that smiled whenever I was around her, but she didn't say much and was very forgetful. Since I started my shift around 9 p.m.
Hey, but she didn't forget that. That's one thing she didn't forget, the lady in black, whatever the heck she saw. That's one thing she didn't forget, we know that.
So the patients were asleep by 11, but not Lena. Whenever she called me into the room, she'd be frightened of these alleged voices she was hearing.
Hey, don't be saying alleged.
Kept staring at her in the corner of the room.
Whoa!
Not gonna lie, it was creeping me out a little.
It's scary.
I believe that in her mind she was seeing and hearing these things, and I sympathized with her.
Real quick, guys. Like whenever somebody says something like that, I know it's not like, oh, you're just gonna go and just believe what they're saying immediately, but man, it's like a part of you, like you gotta take it a little bit with caution. You know what I mean? Like she's saying something kind of wild, but hey, is it a thing for real or not? You know what I mean? Like it's like you don't want to just totally just wipe off something like this, but at the same time, you can't totally be like, oh shoot, she really is seeing it. But so you got to kind of play the cards. You know, you got to play the cards, I guess, in a timely manner. You know what I mean? But I don't know. Let's see what happens, bro.
Because I imagine them to be very scary, but still, I tried my best to calm her down and get her to go to sleep. I didn't want to turn on the TV to calm her down because I wanted to be courteous of the other patient in the room. I held Lena's hands and told her it's okay. to breathe, and to relax.
Nah.
I reminded her that she wasn't here alone, and I was always just a call away. This seemed to do the trick. Lena relaxed for a while, and the next time I came in the room, she was asleep. Once most, if not all, of the patients are asleep, the night goes much slower. Time almost moves in reverse. An hour or two later, I was in the linen room stocking my cart when I heard something in the room.
Oh, Lord.
It was a relatively small, dead quiet room. I had the door closed too. That's why hearing another noise was weird. I turned, saw nothing, and resumed stocking my cart. Then I felt what I can only describe to be a hand on my shoulder. I looked at my shoulder, jumped, and screamed, but there was nothing on my shoulder.
What?
There was no one in the room. Yet,
Whoa.
I knew I felt something large basically grab my shoulder.
Whoa.
I went out in the hall for a second to peek my head. No other nurses in sight. Dead quiet. I had nothing else to do but resume what I was doing. I continued stocking the cart until it was full. Then I turned to face the door. And I fell to the floor and started screaming as my heart was immediately in my throat. There was a man dressed in black standing outside the door, looking through the glass, smiling. My screams were loud enough to wake the entire ward. The man disappeared out of sight through the glass window of the door. Seconds later, the door opened and one of my fellow nurses came in to help me off the floor as I was hysterical.
That's crazy.
I asked her if she saw the man dressed in black. Her response was, "What man? There's no one else here." We checked all the rooms in the ward. There wasn't anybody dressed in black in there. My screams woke Lena from whatever light sleep she must have been in, and when I came into her room, she started talking of the voices. This time the screams, which she didn't know were my screams. I asked her what this man in black looked like, if he was smiling. And she looked at me, and I noticed her eyebrows point down, as her expression changed to look the most focused I'd seen her the entire day. She asked, "How did you know?" And even with my heart still racing, I felt it skip a beat as she said this. She started screaming now, screaming, "Get me out of here, he's coming." The other nurses came in and tried to calm her down. I was switched to a different ward that night with someone else.
What?
I eventually ended up going home early because I was just so freaked out. I texted the head nurse the next day that my next shift would be my last, that the experience traumatized me, and that I didn't really want to be in that building anymore.
She's getting out of there.
I got as friendly of a response as I could have hoped for. I've never been diagnosed with anything, nor have I ever dealt with hallucinations of any kind. I'm aware of the effects of lack of sleep, but this was next level. I don't know if my mind started playing tricks on me from what Lena was telling me all night, but the feeling of the hand on my shoulder, the image of the smiling man behind the glass door, matching the description a patient kept giving multiple times.
Bro.
This was one of those once-in-a-lifetime, unexplainable supernatural occurrences. At least, I hope it was once in a lifetime.
I don't know if that was once in a lifetime or like just a special case of her mind or anything, because it was way too. Because what the old lady, she didn't explain exactly what the guy or the man in black was doing with his face or any features like that. Just a man in black. She saw the features. The nurse saw the features, and she told the lady, and she was like, "How did you freaking know?" Does that sound like she made it up? It matched. It's too congruent right now. I don't think that was fake, son.
Before the next story,
Ooh, I wish I could hear that right now, but it's gonna copyright me, so we gotta skip.
stories like the ones you hear on this channel South Florida. I don't believe there was an outbreak going on or anything, so I'm not sure how I caught it or who I could have caught it from. I started developing really bad symptoms, painful headaches, confusion, sleepiness, nausea, and lack of appetite. But when the hallucinations started, that's when I knew I had something really serious. Laying sick in bed while my husband was at work, I heard a child's voice call Mom from downstairs.
What?
We don't have any kids. I dragged myself out of bed to look down the stairway to call my husband's name. Of course, he didn't answer because he was at work. The headache I had from standing was too much, so I went back to bed. For a second time, I heard a voice call from downstairs. It said hello.
Hello.
I picked up the phone and called my husband, freaking out to him into the phone that I was hearing a scary child's voice from inside the house and that I thought I was hallucinating. He heard how distressed I was over the phone, and so he left work early to bring me to the hospital. While waiting for him to get home, I changed out of my pajamas, and while doing so, I had to run to the bathroom to throw up. As I was mid-throwing up, I heard another voice from outside of the bathroom. I couldn't hear what it might have said, nor could I tell if it sounded the same as the other voice I heard. I was losing my mind. I wasn't diagnosed until I arrived at the hospital, and apparently, if untreated, what I had could be very serious, even fatal. The doctor told me the hallucinations part was rather unusual, but not unheard of. I was given antibiotics through a needle shortly after I arrived at the hospital with my husband. The doctor told me that I was fortunate to have come to the hospital so quickly, as if I had waited much longer, this could have had lasting effects or possibly have been fatal. My husband stayed with me for a few hours in the room. I was told I was going to have to stay there for a few days to a week, given the severity of my symptoms. Around 10 o'clock, my husband left to go home, as he had work the next day. The nurse told me call her if I should have any issues. Though I still felt like absolute death, I nodded off pretty quickly. I started having this dream where my ex-husband was in the room, over my bed, looking down at me, talking. He was saying horrible things about my current husband. He patted my head and said he was glad I was okay, and that he came as soon as he saw my husband left. He went into this rant about how he despises my current husband and wants to kill him. He kept rubbing my forehead, then left the room. I often have bad dreams about my ex-husband because of how toxic and abusive our marriage was, and why it ended, which I'd rather not include. I woke up in this drowsy, lightheaded state and looked around the room. There was a chair pulled up in front of my hospital bed, but no one was sitting in it. It wasn't like that when my husband left.
Oh my gosh.
It was still the middle of the night, so I went back to sleep. I woke up the next morning to the nurse in the room. I told her about the weirdly vivid dream I had, and she laughed and told me that wasn't a dream, that my cousin came to visit me last night. I told her I don't have any cousins that live in this state. She looked more serious now and said, "Well, someone who said they're your cousin David visited you late last night." David was the name of my ex-husband. After explaining better, the nurse got a doctor, and the doctor told me the antibiotics may have caused delirium, which hindered my ability to recognize sleep from wakefulness, hence why I was so vividly hearing what David was saying. I called my husband to tell him what happened, and of course he was livid and concerned. He came back again that night after work.
How did he know?
But that day, I texted David, asking what the hell he was thinking visiting me, and how did he know I was in the hospital.
For real?
My text delivered, but he ignored it. I sent a follow-up, telling him I heard all of his threats towards my husband and that I'd be getting police involved. And minutes later, he responded saying, "I never made any threats towards your husband. I was simply there when I heard what happened to make sure you were okay. You must have heard things in your sleep." I responded, "Stay out of my life or I'll get police involved again." He didn't respond after this. I never told my husband about the threats I heard in my drowsy half-asleep state, because I didn't know if they were real or not. With a mix of the antibiotics and my already having weird audible hallucinations the day before, I don't think it's impossible that what I heard wasn't actually what was said. But I could be wrong. I left the hospital the next week.
That's it? Man, the first one was scarier than the second one.
I once matched this girl that I'm still friends with on Tinder, named Francesca. She seemed cool right from the bat. She had a sleeve of tattoos on her left arm, red highlights in her hair, and she had in her profile that she loved to work out. One of her pictures was taken on the rooftop of this cool-looking building with a sick view. I asked her where it was, and she told me it was some abandoned hospital on the edge of town that's super cool to explore at night, and super easy to get into. There's usually one cop patrolling the huge parking lot at night to deter trespassers. But she said it was super easy to circumvent. She came up with the idea of us going there together as our first date of sorts, if you want to use the word date. I was totally on board with it. She seemed cool, and it seemed like a cool, different kind of way to meet someone as opposed to the usual let's get drinks. I picked her up from her house 10 minutes away. Then we drove the 20 minutes to get to the hospital. Those 20 minutes gave us a nice chance to get to know each other a bit and get comfortable with each other's personalities for a little. When we got to the hospital, she told me to park on this dead-end street hidden by a bunch of tall bushes, which was a 5-minute walk to the inside of the hospital. We hopped this little barrier separating the road from the hospital parking lot, and then we jogged across the wide open lot towards the grass right next to the entrance she said she always used. She led us to this broken window to the basement of the hospital.
Oh, yeah, she
It
does.
seemed kind of creepy, but I signed up for this. I was glad I wore raggy jeans like she told me to, because I knew I was going to rip them on something. We used our phone flashlights. We didn't bring any special heavy-duty
Play
lights
too
or
much,
anything.
man. You play
She seemed
too
to know
much.
this whole hospital like the back of her hand. She led us to the stairway to the upstairs. I gotta say, being alone with one other person in a place like this at night was very scary.
Duh.
But I had no idea how scary it was about to get. On the first floor,
This girl is
Francesca
crazy.
kept talking so loud that I almost wanted to tell her to shh. I was paranoid we'd be found out because of her voice.
Oh,
Down the
fudge.
corridor we were in, it sounded like a door was opening or closing. Something echoed down the corridor to us. She heard it too and went
Francesca
silent.
is a dummy.
I asked her in a whisper, "Is it normal for others to be here?" And she said sometimes, but not really. We turned off our flashlights and waited. Suddenly there was a bang, much closer to us now. We both scrambled in the dark. I followed her, barely able to see. We made it back to the stairway and ran up the stairs with our lights back on. When we were a couple levels higher, we felt it was okay to speak at a normal volume again. Francesca told me the police never come in here, so it may have been other explorers. But the weird thing was there was no sign of another light in that corridor. Nobody normal would be walking in the dark. Then we heard sounds echoing from the exit stair shaft, where we just were. Someone was coming up the stairs. Once again, we scrambled. She led the way, saying she knew where to go. We ran for a few minutes through this maze of a building. I was truly freaking out. It seemed like we were being followed, and I wasn't sure if I would rather have it been the cops or someone else. She led us to this mini outside spot. We weren't on the highest rooftop, but I guess we were on what you'd call the rooftop of this level. We stopped to catch our breath. The whole being followed thing was killing the vibe completely. Even she seemed concerned, and I looked to her as the expert with this place.
I don't know why
After
you
a
would
few
do that,
minutes,
son.
we relaxed a bit
Goodness.
and went through this broken window into the ceiling of this one large room. This part was scary because she wanted to walk along these long, narrow wooden planks with a 10-foot drop below
And she's
us.
trying to get you
A
injured.
fall from this height would cause injury, but I didn't want to seem like a pussy. I followed her across this sketchy long wooden board until we got to the top of this pillar where one board stopped and another one started. We sat on this pillar to just chill and talk, with our legs dangling over the edge overlooking the darkness below. It was creepy in there, and I thought we were all alone, until there was a sound from below us. It sounded like someone walking. Our presence was already made known to whoever was in there, so we turned on our flashlights and aimed them down below. And right below us, standing at the pillar, looking up at us, there was this 40-something-year-old man in a black Carhartt beanie, wearing a black jacket and black sweatpants. He smiled at us and said in this creepy deep voice, "Come on down," as he was waving us to come down. I asked, "Are you police?" He disregarded my question as if he didn't hear me and repeated, "Come on down," with his creepy smile. Francesca and I got up scared and started walking back across the narrow piece of wood. I was even more scared of falling now than before. I had no idea what that man would do to us. As we were about halfway across,
Gonna
the
eat y'all,
man hurried
nigga.
out of the room below us through a door. He was most definitely going to try to catch us. We had to hurry. We made it across and tried to get out of there, knowing that man was dangerous. As we were running down the stairs in a shaft on the opposite side of the hospital, we heard the door a few flights above us open and slam shut, and then footsteps stomping down the steps. He somehow had followed us. We were hauling ass
Y'all
as if
at
we
his
were running
house.
for our lives. We made it back to the first floor, and we ran back to the opposite side of the hospital where we entered from. We went back to the basement and climbed through the broken window. The whole process of climbing through that window was haunting, because I went out second, and I was afraid my legs would be grabbed at any moment.
And exactly.
But I think by that point we lost the man. We ran back across the parking lot back to my car, and when we made it, first thing we did was lock the doors and catch our breath again. That was a complete nightmare, and somehow, us getting through it together created a sort of instant bond between us.
He
We
think
drove
he got
away
a
from there
girlfriend
and
now.
stopped at a Wendy's to get food and just collect our thoughts in the car. We chilled for an hour just talking, and then I dropped her off. Francesca and I have stayed in contact through the years. And while we were romantically involved for a few months,
See?
we
I
ended
knew
up
it.
just staying good friends.
I knew it.
Neither of us ever returned to that hospital again.
Listen, bro. He gonna follow a girl and get killed. He gonna follow a girl and get killed out here, son. Excuse me. On to the last story, man. On to the last story. This is gonna be like a fast one tonight. But if you guys haven't got your snacks, go ahead and grab your snacks. Okay, go get your beverage. Go get the bev, and get the snacks. Let's go, man. Last story from Mr. Nightmare. 6 of my most favorite scary true stories through the years. So this one is a long one. It should be a scary one. I don't know. Let's check it out. Idiot TV.
I was looking for a car to buy for my son for his 18th birthday. I was searching all the typical car websites, cars.com, eBay Motors. They were all overpriced as expected. Craigslist was the only place to find an actual deal. About a week into my search, I found an 03 Toyota Camry. It had 67,000 miles, no accidents, no damage, and good condition for only $3,500. This seemed like a steal for such a reliable car with such low mileage. The seller lived about 10 miles from me, which was a reasonable drive when looking for a car. I gave him a call to set up a time to come check it out. The man sounded normal on the phone. He assured me there were absolutely no problems with the car. He introduced himself as Bob. I brought along $3,500 in
his
cash, even though I planned on wiggling down the price as much as possible. I pulled up the dirt road to Bob's property about 15 minutes early. It was a tiny little house with a decent-sized property, only because it was a bit far from the nearest neighbors. The garage was open, so I looked over to see if anyone was inside, but except for an unusual amount of car parts, it was empty. The car was nowhere in sight. The only car on the property was an old pickup truck. I went over to the front door to check the house numbers. It was the right address. The doorbell button was
Ain't no
missing,
car.
so I knocked on the front door. I knocked every once in a while for exactly 5 minutes before deciding to give the man a call. So I dialed his number, and I heard the sound of his phone ringing from inside the house.
This guy
I was
weird.
extremely confused at this point.
He wants you
Now
to
I
come
knew
in.
I had the right house. I didn't understand why, if he was home, why he wasn't answering. I decided I had to take a peek through one of the windows to see if anyone was inside. Peering through the glass, I couldn't really see much as it was pretty dark inside the house. I saw a very old-fashioned dining room set, but across from that, I saw somebody standing at the back door of the house, staring outside. I figured that must have been Bob, so I knocked on the window, but he didn't even move. There was no gate or anything to the backyard. It was just a wide open yard since this wasn't a rural area. I simply walked around the house to the backyard.
Don't go to the backyard.
I didn't understand how he couldn't hear me. When I got to the back door, I made a shocking realization. The figure standing by the door was a taxidermied human being.
Oh, fudge.
I ran straight back the way I came and back to my car. I looked up one last time before driving off. The blinds to the window I had peeked into had been shut, but I could see 2 of the blinds creased open. Somebody was at that window, watching me. You could probably guess I had the gas pedal to the floor the whole way home.
Oh, yeah, you ramming that.
The whole situation still makes no sense. All the car parts,
What?
the fact that there was no Toyota Camry, the taxidermied human being. Given that there was no car...
Hold on, what does that even mean? Taxidermy? Oh, we gotta look that up real quick. Real quick. Taxidermy. Hold on, guys. Let me figure this out real quick. Taxidermy human. Okay, so basically just like stuffed. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. So this is what we're looking at, guys. This is what we're looking at right here. Taxidermy human being is right there. That is wild. I'm not gonna lie. It's pretty weird. Oh. What? I don't even know how you do that. How do you even? I mean, there's ways, obviously, but goodness gracious, let's go back to the video, man. That is crazy.
There leads me to believe that whoever that man was wasn't planning on selling me anything.
Nah, it's probably not
That also
making you
leads me to the disturbing thought that I was very close to becoming a lifeless statue staring
For
out
real.
that man's back
You was
door.
about to be next for the next doorway or window. That is strange. Story number 2. Come on, let's get more scary,
This happened
man.
when I was really little and often left alone with my single mom. She always came to check on me every night when she would get up to go to the bathroom. This one night in particular, I remember waking up thinking I heard something in my closet. I looked up and my mom was at the foot of my bed giving me a playful wave.
Oh, Lord!
She told me to go back to sleep.
Whoa!
She then went into my closet and pulled the door until it was just barely open, and she just stood in there, poking her head through the crack of the barely open closet. I remember vividly seeing her eye peeking through the crack
Bro,
at me.
what the heck, bro?
I laughed like
I'm
any
not gonna
little
lie,
kid
this
would do in
picture
that
is creepy.
situation, and then fell asleep moments later. When I was eating cereal the next morning, I asked my mom why she was hiding in my closet last night, and she just stopped and gave me a puzzled and concerned look. She told me she hadn't been in the room all night. At first she assumed somebody had broken into the house, but she soon realized it was some kind of hallucination or dream. Since this experience, I've only had 2 other hallucinations, neither of them as vivid or as creepy as this one.
Oh, that was it?
Who's making all those heroes?
Whoa. We gotta chill out with Whoa, was that sword in his... Bro, these games, bro? Let's go. Story number 3. That was quick and easy.
In the year 2009, I was spending a weekend with my uncle on his ranch when my parents were renovating the new house we had just bought. It was my second night there, a Saturday, and it happened to be during one of the biggest thunderstorms of the year. I'd say there were at least 3 crashes of thunder and lightning per minute. And we were in the heart of the storm because the thunder would crash not even a second after the lightning would. I always enjoyed listening to storms while laying in bed. So I stayed up a little later watching TV, just enjoying the ambiance.
The ambiance.
After the movie I was watching finally ended, I turned off the TV and tried to fall asleep. As I heard the lightning strike from outside, I could have sworn I heard some kind of metallic thud coming from outside
I
at the same time.
definitely heard that too.
I didn't pay it too much mind. 20 seconds later, I could have sworn I heard it again.
You did.
A very distinct metallic thud coming from outside to match the timing of the lightning. I really don't mean to make this sound like a cliche horror story, but my uncle really is a kind of creepy guy, and I was never close with him even remotely. So for that reason, I didn't feel right going to wake him up. I just tried to forget about it. Now I was getting concerned. What the hell could that be? After the 3rd time, I finally got out of bed and walked over to the window of the guest bedroom. The water pouring down on the window made it extra hard to see what was out there in the dark fields. A flash of lightning momentarily lit up the property, but I couldn't see anything. However, once again, the sound of a metal hit accompanied it. The sound was so close now, it sounded like it was coming from the left of the window at a blind spot. I was going to do something I knew my uncle wouldn't be happy about.
Don't go outside.
It would be a bit messy, but I was going to open the window and peer outside to see if I could see what the sound was. I unhooked the window lock.
What's up with people trying to check stuff out? This checking out thing gotta stop. Don't peek your head out, bro. Let's see what happens to her, bro. Apparently he's alive. Okay.
Slid it up, and immediately the wind of the storm blew drops of rain into the room and onto me. I stuck my head out the window and looked to the left, and at that very moment, lightning lit up the property once again, and I could see a person dressed in all black crouched down by the outside basement door with his hand raised in the air. And before the sky went dark, I caught the briefest glimpse of what the sound was coming from. The person was bashing at the basement door lock. I pulled my head in and quietly shut the window, making sure to lock it. I was in a panic.
Call your uncle.
I feared he might have seen or heard me. I ran back to bed and pretended to be asleep, facing away from the window.
You gotta call your uncle,
Lightning
son.
crashed once again, but this time there was no metallic thud. My heart must have dropped as I realized this. I just stayed put in bed for the longest time, hoping whoever was out there would go away.
Ah, my gosh.
After maybe
Please.
3 more lightning crashes without any thuds accompanying them, I thought it would be safe to go tell my uncle. I turned to face the window and screamed. There was a figure, clear as day, standing at the window, looking in at me. I screamed as loud as I could and ran straight to my uncle's room. He went outside with his hunting rifle with nothing on but his pajamas, not even socks.
That's all you need.
He ran around the entire property yelling like a madman, but didn't find anyone. The next morning, we were able to better see the marks on the basement door lock.
Yes, sir.
It was almost bashed open. Maybe 3 or 4 more good hits would have done it, according to my uncle. He was proud of me for picking up on it. Luckily, I was out of there that same day. My uncle hasn't told us of any incidents since, so I think he's been okay.
Get that
Not
rifle,
that we talked
son.
to him much at all. I'm grateful I stayed up a little later that night watching that movie, because I may have just stopped a robbery, or possibly much worse.
FAMU's. Boom. Make sure we don't get got.
I don't care if anyone judges me, but I like to go to the movie theaters alone. My work schedule is all over the place. I often don't
going to the
work.
movie theaters alone is kind of fun. I'm not. It's scary at times, depending on what movie you watch. But in the past, I have been the one to go to the movies alone, where there's nobody in the theaters, and man, like you gotta go around the afternoon time, and it's barely anybody in the theaters, and that time is a really. It's kind of calming, especially when you're watching a nice movie. It's kind of like, for me, it was just really relaxing, and it was like I was in a big house. I don't know. If you haven't tried it, you gotta try it, man. At least one time. It's nobody in there. It could be somebody in there. I don't know. Hey, make sure you get your knife. But doing that is pretty relaxing. I've experienced it many times before. Just saying.
Weeknights. So on a stormy Wednesday night, a night not many other people would be thinking to go drive to a movie theater, I did just that. I always like avoiding crowds in anything I do. That's just how I am. It was 2017. I went to see some low-key movie that probably wasn't at the top of most people's must-see movie lists. I was the only one in the theater, just like I expected. I sat myself right in the center seat of one of the higher-up rows and put my feet up on the seat in front of me. About 20 minutes into the movie, I'd say, I noticed someone a few aisles down.
Oh boy.
I didn't notice them coming in. The theater was dark because the scene in the movie at the time was in a dark room. They weren't sitting in a seat like a normal person, though.
I'm not gonna lie. I did go to the movies once and watch the scary movie. And I thought I saw somebody on my right-hand side at one point in time. It was a scary moment for me. I'm not gonna lie. I was also at the top row. So if you go to the movies, probably don't go watch a scary movie because you might be freaked out. You might be like paranoid looking around because I was at a certain point in time. It was scary. I'm not gonna lie. Had to throw that in there.
All I saw of them was the top half of their head, peering over one of the seats to be looking in a direction that definitely was not the screen.
Oh boy.
It was still too dark to be able to tell if they were looking directly at me or not, but when the scene changed to a brighter background, the whole theater got brighter. Bright enough to see they were looking basically at me, but their face was so pale and lifeless looking, and their hair messy and wiry looking.
This one.
I couldn't even tell if it was a man or a woman. I'm an introvert, or just an awkward person,
I remember this
so
story.
I didn't really want to ask if there was something wrong. I viewed that as confrontation. The screen went darker again, and at the same time, the person lowered down behind the chair completely until I couldn't see them anymore. They were completely hidden from my view. I couldn't concentrate on the movie now, though. I was actually very uncomfortable. Actually quite terrified. I didn't get up, though. I stayed put in my seat. Many scenes in the movie passed. I almost forgot about what happened. Almost. Just when I was getting back into the movie, the person's head appeared from behind a seat again, this time much closer, only like 3 rows of seats away from me. I actually let out a holy shit and a loud yell because it genuinely made me jump. Now I was able to see more detail or features in their face. They actually looked lifeless. Their eyes, motionless, hung open.
I remember this.
But still, I somehow couldn't tell if they were looking directly at me or not. Now I could better see it was a man with long, unkept hair. I noped the F out of my seat and down the road to the exit. I had to pass the row in which the person was in to get to the exit door. As I passed the row, I looked down it, and while I expected to see the rest of the person's body sitting hunched behind the seats, instead what I saw was something you'd see in a nightmare. There was some guy basically laying on the floor, holding up a severed head perched on a stick. I didn't stick around to see if it was some sick joke or if the head was real or not. I ran for it through the exit door, and I ran out of the back exit of the building to the parking lot. I drove home in a panic, heart racing. That head looked so real. I got home and did some research about possible recent murders or missing people in the area, and I found something. After browsing a list of missing people in the area, I found the picture of a 17-year-old boy named Donald Watkins who had gone missing a month prior, and based on the picture I found, his face could have matched the head I saw in that theater. Of course, that could be my brain trying to connect any similarities, but the hair, the nose, the eyes, they looked like they could actually be a match. The next day, I simply made a call to the theater and told them the story and suggested they check their cameras and see if anything strange came up. I gave them my number to reach me if they needed to, but I never heard from them. I chose to not spend any more of my time on it.
Yeah, that one was creepy the first time I heard it. It was. Story number 5.
When you stay at a Verbo, the host...
Story number 5.
A long time ago, I very briefly lived with my good friend Ben on a quiet street in Northville, Michigan, perhaps notable for being close to Detroit. It wasn't the nicest house, or block, or area for that matter, but the price was unbeatable for two broke young men like ourselves.
Oof.
Ben and I went way back to when we were like 9 years old, and at the time of this story, we worked the same job, and rooming together with him seemed like a great idea.
Okay.
On our first day there, we quickly figured out that the creepy-looking house across the street with the overgrown grass and bushes was abandoned, as were a lot of the houses around the area.
Okay.
In fact,
this is
something
already...
we somehow hadn't noticed before, there was even graffiti next to one of the front windows and on the fence.
This is bad.
Our neighbors on one side seemed like creeps, and we didn't even want to approach them.
Oh, man.
The neighbor on the other side was an older dude, a very interesting hippie-ish kind of guy. His name was Marv. He had long gray hair with a matching long gray beard. He seemed friendly at first, I guess, but also very weird and hard to talk to.
Y'all didn't want to
We spoke with him on our second day there after work. He told us the place had been abandoned for as long as he could remember. That night, with the sun almost set, while we were sitting on the front stoop smoking, I looked to the house across the street and felt a little tingle in my stomach out of shock. I stood up, threw my cigarette onto the floor and crushed it. Ben looked at me confused, and I pointed to the window across the street. I was pointing at a face, which I saw staring at me through the lone upstairs window of the house.
Oh, shoot.
Do you see that? There's someone at that window. Ben looked at the window immediately, but I saw the person move their head away before he could see it.
Whoa.
It's weird. I explained to Ben that I didn't even know if it was a male or female, old or young. The glass was just too foggy.
Yo, that's an it.
All I knew was that I saw the eyes, and they were staring at us. Ben told me I was legitimately creeping him out. He believed me. We ran over to Marv's house to tell him, but strangely he didn't answer his door, even though we saw him watching TV in his tiny, messy living room through the window.
Hey, Marv was like, hey, listen, I know what you guys saw, but get away from my door. I don't mess with that guy inside there, and don't try to come to me for help because I'm minding my business. Hey, Marv knows the game. Marv, he know what's going on. So Marv is like, hey, if it's not morning, I ain't soaring. I don't know. Let's go.
The fact that the guy wouldn't answer creeped us out even more. Dude, what the fuck is going on with this place? Ben
Now you wanna ask
but
questions?
The situation couldn't stay comical for
Y'all
long.
late.
Ben owns a katana. He brought it to mention and suggested we go across the street with it, break into the house from the backyard, and see what was going on. We were always adventurous, daring troublemakers as kids, so this was our natural response to the situation.
Okay.
When it got dark, we went across the street to the backyard, broke off the board holding the back door.
See, here they go with the doggone investigation discoveries. This is not. What is? Y'all about to get it, bro. Y'all gonna get it. Why you want to go in there and see what was in there, man? I'm tired of this, bro. Like, we gotta find a new way to handle these situations instead of going in. Oh, well, let's see what we can find.
Shut and entered the house. We both had heavy-duty flashlights with us to light up basically any room we were in. The
That's a
house
scary
was
picture.
dusty, decrepit, but surprisingly seemed to remain untouched from the inside. No graffiti or signs of vandalism anywhere. Still, the place was disturbingly creepy, and we immediately joked that we should get the fuck out of there. But we pressed on. The first floor was pathetically small like our own. A kitchen, a tiny living room, and a dining room. There was no basement and one closet. The first floor was clear. We both agreed to check the upstairs. We tiptoed over to the stairs, and Ben, out of nowhere, screamed, "Is anybody up there?" "Dude, why the fuck would you do that?" I said quietly. Then we both froze in fear when we heard rapid stomping suddenly appear from above us. It was someone heavy, and it sounded like they were running over to the stairway. I literally felt like my heart stopped. Ben, the one with the katana, was the first to flee, grabbing my arm and tugging me with him. We went out the way we entered and ran back to the house, where we saw Marv just standing by his window, watching us. We didn't know what to do.
See, I'm trying to tell Marv know what's happening, bro. Marv is in the game. Marv know what he probably know the guy. Bro, that's what I'm telling you, bro. Marv knew why they would come into the window. He was like, "Hey, listen, if you coming for me for help, nah, don't do that." Bro, it's probably they're probably not the first people to go inside the house, or not go inside the one that they saw the person in, but live like renting the house and then leaving, because I'm pretty sure these guys gonna leave, son. I'm hearing some noises over there. Should I go check it out? I got a knife. Where's my knife? I got a knife. Should I go check out the noise, guys? All right, we're gonna stay inside. we gonna finish the video. I guess I didn't hear anything. I'm not gonna go check it out.
Intently stared at us as we froze to catch our breath in front of the house. We went inside, decided not to call the police, and moved out literally the next day.
See? I knew
We
it.
explained to the landlord that the location was just too inconvenient for us, and we needed to leave ASAP. We drove away from that house and never looked back.
Who's making all
First
those
of all,
hero
that's
moves?
crazy. This is a creepy behind game. Why they gonna show like the girl opened her legs? That's crazy.
For my son's 12th birthday, my wife and I threw him a little party in the backyard.
Story number
We
6.
invited the whole family, as we usually did for any of our kids' birthdays, and let him invite all of his friends too. We live in rural New Jersey, so our backyard connects to forest
Jersey.
on two sides. We also have a pretty big property, which allowed us to space out a bunch of tables on the grass with food and refreshments. The little party went into the night. Most of our guests left, but closer family and some of our friends stayed late. It was probably 8 o'clock. The mosquitoes were out in full force, so I decided to run over to the shed at the far end of the backyard by the woods to fetch the tiki torches. I grabbed like 6 torches and set them on the grass while I went back in to look for fuel. However, while I was in the shed, I heard steps in the woods. I stopped what I was doing to take a look out there, but honestly, it was just too dark to see out into the woods. After finding the fuel, I went back to the part of the yard everyone else was at and pitched the torches into the ground. The 6 torches gave off a decent amount of light while keeping us safe from the blood-sucking pests.
There were about 6
Mosquitoes, no
kids
joke.
left, including my son, and they all wanted to play hide and seek in the woods. My wife and I allowed it, just making sure to tell them to stay close to the tree line. My son and his friends went to play their little game in the woods, which left the rest of us to sit in peace for a little bit. It was a solid 15 minutes of talking with relatives and hearing the kids laughing and yelling in the near distance out in the woods. But all of a sudden, the yelling turned to screams, concerning sounding screams from the kids. All of us looked at each other, sitting up in concern. The kids one by one came running out of the woods, yelling that there's something in there. We don't have bears or any big predatory animals around here, so that was not the first thing we assumed it to be. I told all the kids to stay near the patio area. My brother Dom and I, being the biggest men there, decided to go investigate. We took a couple flashlights and off we went into the pitch black woods. The only sounds we heard around us were crickets and other night bugs. So we went deeper, and that's when we started to hear something else. It sounded like an animal at first, but as we followed the sound to get closer, the sound started to become more human-like. We continued to walk, and we agreed we both had the feeling that we were being watched, like stalked. I put my arm out to stop them. Standing in the silence now, the best way I could describe the sound we were hearing was a moaning, angry kind of sound. It sounded human, but it was a bizarre sound. Then, a few cracks of the leaves on the ground ahead of us. We aimed our lights over there, and there was someone or something behind the tree. The moaning sound stopped. Dom stepped forward and called out. What happened next was textbook horror movie stuff.
Whoa! Whoa!
A scream, so loud, so blood-curdling,
Whoa!
so inhuman, filled the air.
It's not human, son.
I'm sure it could be heard for miles.
It's a beast.
Dom and I turned and booked it back to the property. We waved at everyone to go inside when we made it back.
It was a beast, son.
Dom got on the phone with the sheriff's department.
Nah, you gotta call MIB. You gotta call the Men in Black, cause that's the alien. Whatever just did that was the alien. Ain't no cops can handle that. You gotta call MIB. You gotta call them folks right there, cause they gotta have special guns for that.
The animal. We wanted to insist it was a human, but we honestly couldn't. We to this day don't know who or what we saw and heard in those woods, but it was definitely stalking us and the kids when they were playing hide and seek. And that scream we heard, it just didn't sound human to us.
Oh, shoot. All right, guys. The face, I'm not gonna lie, at the end came out of nowhere. But listen, guys. Hold on.
Wawa is bringing brisket back in a big way. Get the slow cook
Hold on, let me turn on the lights. See, the crazy thing is, I remember. If you guys go back to one of my story times that I told, I was in a similar situation where we were playing hide and go seek at night. We were playing hide and go seek at night, guys. Y'all gotta go check out that story time. I might link it in the show notes. If you're watching the playback, you can go back and click it. But for right now, it's not down there right now. But if you're watching the playback, I should go ahead and put it down below. Check it out. But that one, for that story time, man, we were basically playing hide and go seek at night. It was a game. I never played this game before, and keep in mind, I was with a group of friends. This was years back. I was with a group of friends in college, right? That I was in the country side of town, the countryside. So no lights. I didn't even drive there, X, Y, and Z. So I was with them. If I didn't play, I was gonna stay on the farmland, and I'm not staying on the farmland by myself. So anyway, I was in the game, right? And it was, I'm not gonna tell the whole story, but basically, we almost got kidnapped for a second, or we could have. You know what I mean? Cause a big, huge pickup truck was passing by, and I was with one other person. It was me and this girl. I'm not gonna say her name. You gotta go watch the story time. But basically, we had to hide behind a tree so that we wouldn't be seen. And her dumb behind, whoa. Actually, she's not dumb. My bad. But she was acting silly. She was acting like the movie characters. And she was like laughing and thinking it was funny. I'm like, get behind this tree before they see me and you. Right? And there's a whole bunch of other crazy stuff that happens, sounds and stuff. Just go check it out. It's what's the name of the video? If you go to the playlist of Story Times, it's in the playlist of Story Times, so you could check it out, or it might be in Scary Fridays, either one of those. But go check that out, man, because that was crazy. To me, that was ridiculous. And but it's those moments at night where when you hear the weird noises, it's just a thing that you know, like, okay, something's not normal about that. Something's different. And that's the only time I did something ridiculous like that. You know, if it was me, I wouldn't have done it. You know, had I had the option to leave, but since I didn't, I was in the game, man. they were my ride, so I had to go. But anyway, we made it. I'm alive. You know, obviously. So that's what it is. Hey, if you enjoyed this video or enjoyed this live, make sure you smash the like button. Help me out with the algorithm. And also comment down below if you're watching the playback. Help me reach a bigger audience and get good with the algorithm of YouTube. And if you're new, subscribe is free. Turn on the post notification bell so you know when I go live or post a video. Links down below right now to other videos and other channels, to other channels that I have on YouTube, the podcast channels on there, gaming channel, all that good stuff, man, the vlogging channel. So go check out more content if you want more that is there in store for you. Appreciate you guys for watching. Appreciate you guys that's watching the playback. It's Eddie Ed TV. Catch you guys next live stream. Let me see the comments one more time in case I'm missing something. Okay, I'm not missing nothing, man. Appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Watch something that's funny or something to help you guys go to sleep if you're scared. Okay, but I have fun. I hope you guys have fun too. Peace out.